So welcome back to the old home place here. It's been like 3 months since I've been out here, and there's a lot of stuff that has happened weather-wise out here. They had huge floods. Luckily, all my gate posts stayed in the ground this time. Um, there's a lot of limbs down, a lot of trees down. So this time is more of a pick up the pieces trip and kind of tidy up and try to get some things done that I wanted to do this winter that I didn't really get a chance to because of the weather. So on my way out here, one of the things I did is I bought this land plane. I call it a land plane. Some people call it a grader scraper for the tractor. I'm going to have about 2 miles of road to maintain out here, and I'm going to need something to do it with. So that's the reason I went with this over box blade, because I do only have a 25 horse tractor. And when you start dragging dirt behind you, the box blade can fill up, and your tractor can have a hard time pulling it if it's too much dirt in there. So this works out better for me. So I put it to work for the first time yesterday. I wish I would have taken some video or some pictures beforehand. But this little driveway here beside my barn, pay no attention to the doghouse that's been there for probably about 40 years, was overgrown, and you even had a hard time walking down it. So I put the bucket to work as well as that land plane, and got it pretty well dug out and a lot smoother than it was. It's not complete. Obviously it's missing gravel. I need to get some gravel up here, but that's a whole nother story in itself. But this is just one of the things that I've done so far. What it did enable me to do for the first time, and you'll see the inaugural trip there on one of the following videos, as I just take you a ride around the backside of my property. It allowed me to drive down onto the gas road for the first time with a vehicle, and that's pretty good that I can do that now, where I couldn't before. It allows me to access a lot of the property with the tractor and get a lot more work done. Put in some trails and stuff and get some fallen trees and logs and stuff like that in the future. But like I said, I really wish I would have took some pictures of it beforehand. That land plane it's quite a tool, and I'm glad I bought it ultimately. One of the things I wanted to get accomplished this winter, which I'm not going to, but so be it, was to try and start pushing into this. If you watched the very first video I ever put up, this is where I started to push in. There was some down trees over here. One was a sugar maple, and it was down. And one of the reasons I want to do this is because if I can push into here and make a trail, and I'll take you on a walk here real quick. If I can push into this and make a trail that the tractor can fit through, one of the things that will allow me to do is come through here down through this area, get down to this flat spot right here, which is going to be overgrown by briar sooner or later, much like everything else around here. That's probably the most irritating thing we have as far as brush in the mountains. And I can do a lot with this area, but if I can make this trail come right down through here and down through here and make it navigable with the tractor, then I can drive this way onto the gas road as well. And if this well ever stops producing, and they come get this eyesore out of here. This is a massive flat spot, which would be ideal for a sawmill operation or a small hobby mill operation, and a building of sorts with easy access. So that's the main reason I want to do that. But it's most easily done in the winter. You can still see the tractor right now. In about 2 months, you won't be able to see that hillside up there where we're going to build the house. It's going to be so thick, especially with briar. That's why the winter time makes this the best time to do it. But we might push into this a little bit more today. We might not. We'll see how this works. You can see a little game trail right here. Something's been running through here. Bear, deer, something. So, all right, on to the next trouble spot. Once the latter part of spring gets here and the first part of summer, briar thickets and autumn olive and other undesirables, kudzu, start growing rapidly. Right here, we're next to where I want to make that trail down by the gas well. If you just turn this way a little bit, you have another pretty flat area that goes back toward the gas road, probably a good 30 or 40 yards. But you can see there's all sorts of saplings that have taken off. Those 3 poplars right there are nice trees, and I would keep those. But you've got a lot of walnut in here that sprout up, and while walnut's a very desirable tree, it won't be desirable for about 40 years. So, not to mention it's just way too thick in here. So this is another area that I want to get into and clear out and make it so you can actually walk through there. It'd be a relatively nice area if it got thinned out. So that's another problem child that I'm gonna have to get to sooner or later, hopefully sooner. I just don't want any more brush piles like that. That's been here for about 4 years now. So the more of those I can avoid, the better. So, speaking of overgrowth, here's a prime example. That's a trailhead. Sorry, something's jumping around the woods behind me. You can't even see it anymore because of the briar. You can kind of see it if I raise it up down there. I think maybe you can see it. So this has to be taken care of. It's something I won't get to today, but sometime soon, hopefully, because it provides another access to the gas road and ultimately down past there to my logging trail. Something's moving around the woods right over there in all the briar. Anyway, overgrowth, as you can see, starts early, happens fast. On top of overgrowth, what provides a healthy habitat for that? Well, none other than snapped off trees like we have right here. The prevailing wind does come from that way. So when you get a good storm coming through here, it will snap off trees such as you see here. More cleanup. That's all right though. It happens. Some of that will be used for firewood. Some will get tossed in a brush pile, unfortunately. And we'll go from there. The biggest problem is this is a really steep hillside. I don't know if you can tell But if I move the camera like this, now I'm kind of going with the slope. So driving a tractor across here can only be done certain ways. Last thing I want to do is roll the tractor. So, but yeah, again, there's another old snapped off tree. There's a lot more usable area down in there, but overgrowth happens quickly. So more to take care of. All right.